last 20 years of Republican economic policy, it has driven our nation into debt. Those numbers speak for themselves. We're the party of growth, and I think we need a fair tax system. I like some of the reports. I like a lot what Simpson-Bowles talked about. I'd like to see taxes down and maybe get rid of a lot of the deductions we have. The tax code in our country today is so confusing. I'm in big manufacturing businesses. I'm hiring thousands of people. It's a very complicated thing. I think as Democrats, we need to talk about a tax policy that creates growth in the country. And that should be more of our argument. Going to everything I've talked about and how we need to compete against Germany and China and other nations of the world. Their tax policy, I can't really tell you what they're cut. What does that mean? Medicare is going bankrupt. You know the numbers on Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. We've got to seriously deal with these issues because we literally are borrowing from China. The second China says, we're not going to buy any more of your debt, or we're going to unload some of the debt we have of you, our interest rates are through the roof. So, I think we've been able to get through most of the argument on taxes, but listen, a fair tax system, I think there's way too many deductions. I agree with Warren Buffett, who, hardly pays any taxes because of the deductions you get. We should eliminate a lot of the deductions. I think we could actually get a lower rate for a lot of folks in the country. I happen to be one that's big. I don't like our corporate tax. We're the second highest in the world behind Japan. I would like to see all that trillions of dollars brought back to this nation. So I think a more sensible business tax here in the country, a lower business tax. But I think the biggest thing we should do with our tax system is give tax incentives to people who are creating jobs. If I go out and employ X number of people, I should get a tax incentive for that. We have to incentivize job creation and, most importantly, research and technology. The R&D tax credit, as you know, has to be renewed every year. That's crazy. If I'm going to invest millions of dollars in new green technologies, I don't know if that tax credit's going to be around next year. I think that's crazy. I do think the Democrats have a very good ideas on tax policy. They're more complicated. They're more thoughtful conceptually about how we grow our economy. It's so simple to say, let's cut taxes. What does that mean? I was at an airport right before the election, and one of the Tea Party members came up to me screaming at me at the airport. What do you want? I want to get rid of the Department of Education. I want to get rid of the Department of Defense. I said, you want to get rid of the Department of Defense? I said, that's good luck. Well, listen, tax policy, pro-growth, the system today is too antiquated. We need a total overhaul of the tax system. And we ought to take the lead on it. And we shouldn't be afraid of it. Listen, folks, as you can tell, I'm very frank. We need people in politics who are going to stand up, say what it is, and let the chips fall where they may. When I ran for governor, I didn't do a lot of things, all these people sitting around these focus groups and all that. I don't need 8 people sitting around a room who are there because they get free cookies telling me what I ought to say. Just say it. And, at the end of the day, what happens if you lose? You lose. Big deal. You get out of bed and go on the next day. It's the same thing as business. And the last thing I'll say is I think we need a lot more business folks in Congress and in government. I want someone who has met a payroll. Until you sweat it out a couple payrolls, you'll think twice about putting some government regulation on that could have a very serious impact on job growth in this country. We just got to get a lot more serious about it. A lot of hands. Well, I got to do you because you got the flag on and all.